Well, this is the roller coaster mod for Minecraft, and it's absolutely incredible. I think it may be my new favorite mod of all time, like dethroning the portal gun, potentially. I just did a loop on a minecart. Well, not technically a minecart, on a roller coaster cart, but like as opposed to traditional minecarts where you can kind of just go up and down and flat. You can do a lot of stuff with this and make some really cool roller coasters. We'll get to the big one in just a second, which I've made. But let's start off with the basics here. So it's a Japanese mod. It doesn't come with any English documentation, so it took a little bit of trial and error. It'll take some getting used to, probably even after watching this video. But we've got a bunch of different types of rails. We've got the normal rail, constant velocity, redstone, detector, branch rail. There's an invisible rail. I found that this can cause some crashing issues, so we're not going to use it, but it's supposed to be just invisible. It'll show when you're holding one in your inventory and then disappear when you switch off. And then we've got a couple tools to help us out here. So let's start off by placing down the normal track. So the way this works is you kind of want to just place it facing the direction you want it to go. You'll notice if I place in different angles, that's kind of where it faces. You can tweak this with the wrench, but it's easier if you kind of just placed it in the direction you want to start with. You can also do sideways tracks, since right now there we go. It was intersecting other things. You can do it sideways, you can do it upside down, obviously, as you see it on the loop there. But let's start off with a basic flat one. Now we'll put down a constant velocity rail just so you can see what it looks like. It auto connects. Actually, if we take the wrench out here, the wrench, you'll notice, kind of changes icons, which I'll try to get to how that works in a few moments. Again, it really is like up to trial and error. Constant velocity rail, I haven't really used much. I think it's supposed to keep you track of constant velocity, but I haven't really figured out its applications. Redstone booster track, on the other hand, pretty self-explanatory. You power it with redstone, and it'll boost your cart whenever it gets to it, as opposed to this, which just coasts on the normal track. Next up, we got the detector rail, which pretty self-explanatory. Cart goes over it, and it'll output a redstone signal for whatever you want to be triggered, if it's like an event or something on your track. And then finally, we've got the branch rail, which you're actually able to switch which direction it's heading by applying a redstone signal to it. So you'll notice that the gray sort of switches from side to side, or the darker gray, I should say. I haven't really put this to use at all in my track, but it exists if you want to use it. And now if we place one of the coasters here, you have to actually place it on the block itself. You can't just click on the track. It should start accelerating because it's redstone. It'll go off in the highlighted direction. Once it reaches the end of the track, it kind of just bounces back. It doesn't shoot off the end, and you'll have to just manually pick it up by breaking it, or just destroy it and then place down another, whatever works for you. Now, I should mention, I don't think there are any crafting recipes for these items. It's sort of built for creative mode, as I'm sure you can imagine. If there were crafting recipes, again, it was all in Japanese, so I must have overlooked it, but I'm pretty sure that it's all just, you grab it from the creative menu and go. So let's build something a little bit more complicated now and take advantage of our extra tools here. So first off, we don't want this to connect to the next block we place down, so the wrench is in the red mode right now, which means that this wants to connect to the next thing we place. Again, it's a little bit trial and error, you have to get used to it, so we're going to disable the connection here. It does a weird thing which we can ignore. But now let's start higher up. We'll use our magical place block in the air stick thing to place a block here, and we'll start the track by placing this down. Alright, so that's going to head straight out in the direction we were facing. Now let's go ahead and connect it to something else down here. We'll do that, and how about we face this at an angle? So again, the wrench right now is on the red, which means that whatever I place down next is going to connect to the last track base that I put down. So now we've got this gradual curvature here, and what I found is that doing things really gradually is sort of the key to getting a smooth ride. When I started off with this, I was like, all right, let's make a whole bunch of abrupt twists and turns. You kind of want to just do it really, really gradually, I found is the best way to go about it. Now we'll flatten it out again, and we can do super duper long track connections, and it'll make things a lot smoother, you'll find. So we'll start up there, we'll go down here, and then we can even start going up again, or we could do a redstone booster rail if we wanted to go really high. Why don't we do that? We'll curve back over this way, and now we'll go ahead and activate this with a redstone torch so we get some extra speed, and then we can launch ourselves right back in the air again by going all the way up here, placing a block down, and then we'll do a normal rail, and then there we go. So now we've got this nice long gradual track. And now say you messed up a connection. Well, let's test it out first, and then we'll get into actually editing something that you've already put down, because you're bound to make mistakes. I made a lot of them with that thing because I didn't realize that it actually takes friction into account at first, so I had to deal with that. So here we go. Turn sideways a little bit, and it's going to even us back out, and then whee, up we go. We'll hit the end, and then it should push us back down, and then this thing is going to keep pushing us back up. So we'll sort of hit equilibrium up here at the top eventually when it comes to a stop. I'm going to destroy it. Okay, so say that I sort of messed up, though. I don't want it to do this curve down here. I just want it to go from this track over here and connect straight into the redstone boosters. So the way that I do that, so I'm going to right-click here, and then I'm going to reactivate the connection by making it red again, and then I'm going to run over to the redstone block over here and link it up. So there we go. Now it's going to take the, I assume it uses like spline tangents or something like that. I don't know if that's even the right word for it, just going off of animation stuff. It's going to try to smoothly connect as best as possible, taking into account, again, the angle in which you were looking at when you put it down. So say you want to adjust this, all you have to do is, boom, destroy that. It automatically goes into the proper wrench mode, and depending on the trajectory you're facing, you can make adjustments to it, and it'll try to smooth it out as best you can. And you can try to figure out what the best, smoothest angle is there. So there we go. We just edited our track. And that's how that works. That's pretty much the tools that I use to make the big track in a nutshell. Again, trial and error. There's a bunch more experimenting that you're able to do. You can use the different types of rails if you want to, but that's the main stuff that I ended up using myself. So that said, why don't we do the grand finale here and ride the coaster that I set up. It took about an hour or so to put this thing together. Let's give it a try and listen to some music while we do it.